Today we're checking out the Outdoor Vitals Nova Pro. That's next. Welcome Backcountry Renegade, I'm Jeff. This channel is all about backcountry adventures and all the gear in between. And if you're into those things too, consider subscribing. Today we're checking out a very popular jacket in the backpacking world, and it is the Outdoor Vitals Nova Pro. This jacket really has a ton of features that really make it stand out compared to a lot of other jackets out there. You have things like thumb holes, pit zips, no seam stitching, and some pretty awesome down mixed with some synthetic insulation to really keep the loft there if it does get wet. And not only that, it has an amazing warmth to weight ratio. So let's check it out in a bit more detail. Outdoor Vitals is a small cottage company based here in the United States that specializes in ultralight backpacking and outdoor gear. The Nova Pro is one of their signature puffy jackets for cold conditions out in the backcountry. It is the warmest jacket that Outdoor Vitals makes, and it does an excellent job at blocking the wind and also keeping you warm. This is due to their innovative zero stitch pattern. It has an excellent warmth to weight ratio as well. Outdoor Vitals also has a great warranty in their performance promise, so if anything goes wrong, just contact them and they'll help you out with your needs. The Nova Pro comes in either black, gray, or blue, and also comes in multiple sizes as well. This one here is in a men's small, and the Nova Pro sells for $250 new. So for being a winter cold weather jacket, this has a really good weight for it, so you have a great weight to warmth ratio. Looking at the shell fabric, you do have an outer shell of 20 denier ripstop nylon, and the inner lining is also a 20 denier ripstop nylon. I found this is a really good balance between durability and lightweightness. The shell is also coated with a DWR finish to help repel light rain and snow so it doesn't soak into the down. One of the things that makes the Nova Pro innovative is the insulation that they use inside the jacket. The Nova Pro is a hybrid type of insulation that features down LT insulation. This is mostly a power hyper dry down, which is 800 fill power down. It is also RDS certified and responsibly sourced as well. But the insulation also features a mix of synthetic insulation that they call Loft Tech insulation, and this is placed in strategic areas that are prone to getting wet. The fill weight in a large is 155 grams of insulation, so it's slightly less here in this small jacket. The down is treated with a water repellent type of technology, so it does keep it dry to maintain its loft, and mixed in with that synthetic insulation as well. If you do happen to get some water to penetrate into the insulation, the synthetic is going to be able to maintain its loft even if it does get wet. This makes this jacket a super reliable jacket to be used in winter conditions. One of the innovative things of the Nova Pro is the quilting pattern that they use, or baffles, or really lack thereof. This is the Nova Zero Stitch fabric that they use. Basically, this is fabric which is interwoven into place to create a weld inside that holds the insulation in place. This pattern is an offset pattern that features horizontal lines. This really resembles what you find in kind of the micro puff. The difference is you don't have the stitching for that on the outside. As a result, you have far less cold spots, and you also have less airflow that's going to penetrate through, so it makes it very windproof as well. Outdoor Vitals claims with the zero stitch fabric, you are saving 10,000 stitching holes from that. So again, it's going to be far more windproof than your typical jacket that has stitch baffles. This makes this also very durable, as you don't have to worry about stitching coming undone. But even though you have less airflow going through the jacket because of the zero stitch fabric, Outdoor Vitals makes up for that by actually giving you pit zips. The pit zips are very handy, and one of the most unique things I found about this jacket, I haven't seen pit zips in any other down jacket out there. These are large pit zips that allow for proper venting based on the activity and condition that you are doing. So no longer do you have to stop and take off your jacket when you overheat, when you're doing more intense activities like snow skinning. Now you can just dump out that hot air, and you can regulate your heat a whole lot more efficiently. This is one of the most unique features of this jacket that I've really come to appreciate. As a result, when I'm split boarding and going uphill skinning, this jacket I could keep on without having to worry about overheating and sweating. Let's talk about the warmth. This is one of the more warmer jackets that I've worn, and a lot of that is because of this zero stitch fabric and the amount of insulation that they use. I've been able to take this down into the teens with just a shirt underneath, and have been relatively comfortable with that. I can imagine even with more proper layering, I can take this even lower as well. Let's talk about the pockets. The novapro features 2 front pockets that are heavily insulated in the front. These are zippered pockets that you can keep your hands warm behind the insulation that is in the front. Looking at the inside, you can see that you have 2 stuff pockets here, and these are really nice if you want to go ahead and stuff in some gloves or goggles to keep warm, or your skins as well. They're no zippered pockets, but this is really efficient to use your body heat to go ahead and keep those things warm that are necessary to do. Looking at the cuffs here, you do have some nice elastic here that is at the tip of the cuffs, and this does a good job of keeping the wind out or any cold air from coming in. It also has these thumb holes here that is integrated into the sleeve here. And this is really neat, another cool, unique feature of this jacket. So you can go ahead and keep your hands warm by keeping the upper part of them nice and covered as well by the insulation. This is another awesome, unique feature of this jacket that I've never seen in any other puffy jacket out there. Opening up the jacket, you can see you have 2 adjustable hem draw cords here, and these allow you to get precise fit to lock in the heat by adjusting them and keep it nice and tight to your hips and waist. These have a nice push buckle here as well as some shock cord to provide nice precise adjustments. One cool thing about this is you have no need to worry about that excess cinch cord that is hanging loose when you do tighten it, because the excess is stored into those front pockets there. So really keeps it nice and handy in there as well, rather than hanging out loose. Let's look at the hood here. You have a nice insulated hood with an awesome brim as well here that is nice and adjustable with these 2 cinch cords in the top that you can tighten to get the precise fit. This is great in heavy winds to where you don't have to have the hood flying off. You can get it nice and tight to have perfect mobility and able to turn your head while still being insulated as well. In the back here, you also have another adjustment point where you can go ahead and tighten it too to get precise adjustment. If you do plan to wear a climbing helmet, this will not fit over the climbing helmet. This is more of like a scuba hood. So if you're gonna wear the helmet, go ahead and put on your hood first and then put the helmet over that. Let's talk about the zippers. This features awesome YKK zippers that are highly durable and dependable. And these zippers you can find in the pit zips, the front pocket, and then the main zippered area in the front. Let's talk about the weather resistance of this jacket. This is one of the most weather resistant puffy jackets that I've ever used. It's water and wind resistant because of the fabric and the DWR finish. Because of the 10,000 less stitch holes and the lack of baffles, you don't have any cold spots or areas where wind can penetrate through very easily. And the mix of synthetic insulation with a hydrophobic down treated insulation really does a good job of maintaining the loft if the insulation does happen to get wet. As a result, one of the most weather resistant jackets that is out there as a puffy jacket. Let's talk about the fit. This jacket has a great athletic fit as well. It allows you to have a little bit of room so you can layer underneath for cold winter activities as well, but I don't feel restricted in any way when I do that. And it also doesn't feel super baggy as well, so it's a good fit overall. I will say you do have a little bit longer of a fit, especially in the back side, but this is good for when you do happen to bend over or sit down. You don't have the jacket running up, exposing any of your backside area. Let's talk about the style. Overall, this is a pretty stylish jacket. I really like the pattern here. It makes it unique rather than the typical down baffles that you typically see on insulated jackets. It's stylish enough to be used out in town without its screaming mountain technical jacket, but you can also use it out in the mountains comfortably as well. My only gripe about the style is the sheen of the outer shell here is pretty bright. It really shines quite a bit, and I'd rather have it be a little bit more dull or matte finish for that. Let's talk about the compression. Being an insulated jacket, this does compress very nicely into the front left pocket. Basically, just make the jacket go inside out into that pocket. And once you stuff it in that pocket, you do have another zipper on the outside that you can go ahead and zip it up. And this is what it looks like compressed into its front left pocket. And it's a very nice, about the size of an Nalgene, and you can even compress it some more if you wanted. So relatively compact for the amount of warmth that this has for a winter jacket. So overall, this is one pretty awesome jacket, and I think it is a good buy because the pros definitely outweigh the cons. The first pro has to be the insulation. It is an 850 hyper down, which means it can repel moisture to an extent, and it maintains its loft very nicely. It also has a small amount of synthetic insulation in certain areas that are more prone to get wet, so it still keeps you warm even though it may get wet. The The next pro is the Nova Zero stitching. It's really neat because you have these creases here that actually keep the loft in place without having to have stitching for baffles. This also means you have 10,000 less stitching holes, so water and moisture isn't able to get through those stitching holes as well. Another pro is the thumb loops. This is something that's really neat for a puffy jacket. Haven't really seen anything like that, and I really enjoy it, especially if you're trekking and you're cold out there. You can have these over your hands and give you some extra warmth. Another pro is the pit zips. This is really awesome because if you want to use this in cold weather where you're doing active things such as split boarding and you're going uphill and you need to dump some heat, rather than taking off the whole jacket, just open up the pit zips, release the heat, and you're good to go. So really awesome at maintaining your body temperature with those pit zips. Another pro is the price. At $249 with all these features and the kind of warmth that this provides, it's a killer deal compared to some of its competitors out there. Now let's consider some of the cons. This is kind of minor, but this does have a sheen that is really noticeable. So I would have liked to have more of a matte finish and also maybe some other color options. Another con is, though it is loose, it would have been really nice if there is a little bit of stretch in the back. I think that would have really brought this jacket over the top. And you have some jackets out there that are now using stretch in down jackets, and I've really enjoyed those. So would have been cool to have a little bit more stretch in this jacket. Another con for me, and it might be the biggest con really of this jacket, is while the pit zips are pretty nice, it can be a little difficult to get up, especially if you're wearing a backpack. Now, the only way you can do it without taking off your jacket or having someone else do it is you have to put your thumb in the thumb holes, put your arm straight up, and then just keep going. And that's really the only way I've been able to do it. But if you're wearing a backpack or some kind of harness or something like that, it can be a little bit difficult. So what do you think of the Outdoor Vitals Nova Pro? Is this a jacket you want to try out? Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. If you like what you saw, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe for more outdoor gear reviews like this. And as always, thanks for watching.